Welcome back. Another Harry's Happenings video along by Riverside. This is the last of the Riverside walks that I'm going to be doing in this series of a walk in Norwich, and it's a cold January day in 2022. So a few interesting places to see along this part of the river. Back there, as I just showed you, is where Cow Tower is, just round the bend. Some school children actually on their canoes, which is a great thing to do on a sunny day, but although it is really cold. Currently opposite we have a new development, rather expensive apartment. Anyway, we have come to St James's Mill with all these lovely willows, which have not quite in leaf obviously yet, on the River Wensum. This was built by the Norwich Yarn Company in 1836, but by the time they got it going in 1839, Yorkshire had in fact found that Norwich were producing some really good textiles and copied it. So in fact, although there were 50 looms, power looms on the third floor there at one point, Norwich really fell behind on the textile producing business, and up in Yorkshire they were doing really good copies and imitations, and Norwich actually lost out. So this building was it changed hands eventually, and it's been associated with chocolate manufacture, and also in World War I it was used to train people that were maimed, to get them trained back up into life basically. It then took the role of a printing works for Gerrards, which is a local family, and they have a department store in Norwich, and here it is today, offices, and I think still a printing works. There's a few pubs along the river here, and there's a part of the river where in fact you cannot walk along. The development at Duke Street was allowed to build right up to the river. Anyway, it's a lovely late afternoon in January here, and the light is really fantastic. Alright, we've crossed the road. Some rather nice apartments on the river here. Right, we're now at Quayside, and this is where the boats would come up and upload all their goods. And you can see here there's a whole collection of like old crates with the names of former businesses that actually worked along the side here. Some of the buildings are original, others have been infilled quite sensitively. And here we've got Mr. E. King, or King, Mrs. Peck. So these are all businesses that will be along the river here on the quayside. Very nice. It's a lovely walk actually to go from the Ribs of Beef, the pub that you can see in front of me, all the way around to the station and further. So it's a good walk around Norwich. Here behind me, the blue building, is the merchant's house, where the business will be carried out from the quayside here. It's lovely, isn't it? As we walk along here, we get to the Ribs of Beef, and say one of the pubs which are on the river. So, as I said, this is Quayside. Named after its function, there was once a ducking stool here, used for punishing dishonest people, usually women, in the river. I think women had a pretty tough time in medieval times. They were called witches and tortured and burnt at the stake. And here we are. We have a ducking stall which was here, and mainly women again. There's wasn't equal rights, was it, in those days? Anyway, we're going to cross the road now. This is the Fire Bridge. There's another pub across there, Mischief. Right, this is where the path actually stops, just up here. This is a rather nice part of the walk as well. The back of the houses on the street. We're now coming up to Norwich University of the Arts. Set of buildings, old buildings as well, as you'll see from this rather lovely courtyard. I don't have much information about the buildings here. Something that I think I'd like to research. So in front of us is part of the church, St Andrew's, and you can see some old remnants of walls that were here. Any modernisation's been done rather sensitively, I think. Very, very nice. So we now have to cross the bridge and get away from the river a little bit. The red brick building, which is next to what we've just seen in the courtyard, is in fact the old Norwich Technical Institute. Quite a grand building, isn't it? They're all parts of the University of the Arts. This is Blackfriars Bridge, designed in 1753. And over this side you can see that there is a pathway around the block of flats, but you can't actually walk all the way around the river, which is kind of bad planning really. Right, we've had to walk away from the river to get back to the river, so we're actually now on Colgate. And the word gate actually comes from Scandinavian, it means street, and there's a lot of Scandinavian words which have been adopted in Norwich from the influence of raiders. This is Henry Bacon's house as it was. He was a merchant, and he built this house and became Sheriff of Norwich in 1548. And this is dressed flint. When I showed you the flint at Paul's Ferry, it wasn't dressed, but what I meant by that, look how flat this is. This is chiselled to make it really flat. Yeah, and the house has associations with the Ket's Rebellion in 1549, which I have mentioned, and I may well be doing a video about that, because I want to go up to Ket's Hill and show you Ket's Hill, and the view that you get of Norwich from there is really quite wonderful. But the Ket's Rebellion is quite a story, and I've just picked up a book called Tombland, which is quite famous apparently. It's a very big book, which touches on a lot of historical facts as a story, and includes what happened with the Ket's Rebellion. This is the school of Jane Austen College, and we're going to walk as we deviate from the river, Muspole Street, and here there was a big shoe factory. Right, now you might think this is an ugly building, and you probably would be right. Doesn't look great, does it? It was in fact a very large shoe manufacturing business, as I will show you. It's called St George's Works, and I don't know if you can see this. all the shoes, cutting the leather. St George's Works, Norwich. And we've got the women here over here. Not looking very happy, are they, some of them? Now this is, it says at the bottom, the machine room 1926. So although there's a lot of history in Norwich, and this is historical, obviously, it's not one of the more attractive buildings. Anyway, let's get back to the river, if we can find it. I've just heard the peregrine falcons as well, who are nesting on the top of the cathedral, Cathedral Close. Obviously not at the moment. And the sad thing is that the female was found dead, and there's a new female now attached to the male. So we have a new partnership of peregrine falcons who will be nesting and breeding on webcam as well, Norwich Cathedral in the summer, early summer, and you can always hear them. They're quite a distinct sound. Right, we're back down by the river. This is the old electricity board building, pretty ugly. I didn't tell you, but the shoe factory was built in 1876, and it was actually the largest shoe factory in the late 19th century. It employed people that used to work in the textile factory a century before, with the decline obviously from the textile industry in Norwich. Here we have this very interesting building. I'll try and get a close-up for you on the other side. Now on this building, it was going to be demolished, but it hasn't been. On this building, this was part of an international exhibition in 2006, and the artist Roy Macbeth used this as a canvas on which to paint the entire 40,000 words of Thomas More's Utopia. And yeah, due to be demolished in 2007, it's still standing, and it's sandwiched between some houses and Bullard's brewery, as you can see, stands here in its all its glory. Really nice. And the bridge was built in 1804. The bridge has actually got the Norwich coat of arms on it, dating, say, 1804. And it's called St Miles or even Cosleny Bridge. Lovely, isn't it? Not a great area of the river, to be honest, but it still has some interest. Right, we actually can walk down here, so let's go and have a look. There's some rather nice apartments overlooking and houses overlooking the river. I'd say the river's not at its best. It's more of a canal here, isn't it? That's the St Miles Bridge we've just seen with the coat of arms. It was the city's first iron bridge, built 25 years after the world's first major iron bridge at Iron Bridge in Shropshire. During the Industrial Revolution, the Norwich textile industry basically was outpaced by mills in the north of England, as we said earlier, and they had better access to coal and fast flowing water, and they had better steam powered looms. However, there was a sufficient head of water at new mills to drive the compressed air system from 1897 to 1972, pumping sewage down to Trouse, which is a small village just outside of Norwich, and it also powered machinery to the Norfolk Technical Institute. There's been numerous floods in Norwich over the years. I'm going to read off some: 1762, 1646, 1614, 1570 and 1912, and these are the flood levels So 1912 was really high, and that's, you know, that's coming up to my waist really. So that's how high it was. So that concludes the last Riverside walk that I've done. If you've enjoyed it and you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe, like and follow. That's very important, and you keep up to date then with what my content is basically on my Harry's happenings. So here we are. I'll just leave with this view. We have the castle, which is currently being worked upon inside. They're putting on the floor that used to be there back in, just getting the sunshine as on this cold January's day, the temperature dropping and the sun is going down. So thanks very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please drop me any comments you like, and I hope to see you again, and I look forward to taking you on another little trip around Norwich. Thanks a lot. Thank you.